Hello, everyone. I hope you're all safe and healthy. Welcome to our special webinar today, Maximizing Efficiency Across Your End-to-End Global Affiliate Payment Workflow, presented by Topology and LinkTrust. Whew, it's a long title. So first, a few housekeeping items. All participants are muted and audio is through your computer only. If you have any questions, please submit them in the Q&A window. We'll answer at the tail end of the presentation. You can adjust any of the slide and screen share windows for your viewing preferences. We also have a resource center where you can download additional content from Topology and LinkTrust. And we'd love to hear what you thought of today's program, so please take a moment to complete the survey at the end. Today's speakers are myself, there on the left, Nick Fishler, who will show you how LinkTrust and Topology work together in an integrated way to measure and pay your affiliates, and Gary Eggett from LinkTrust. And to kick things off, we'll hand the mic over to Gary.
Thank you, Derek. Appreciate the opportunity to do with Topology. LinkTrust has been around for about 15 years. I've been with LinkTrust for going on 12 years now. We're industry leading, the most trusted marketing attribution platform that there is out there. LinkTrust helps you to manage your campaigns, whether you're working with CPA, CPL, lead gen, you got cost per click. If you're tracking an app install, you want to do some call tracking, LinkTrust is capable of handling all of that. Working with affiliates, management, influencers, partner marketing, you can do all of that. We have 99% uptime, which is unheard of. We've got top-notch support, very user-friendly. The system is very flexible, customizable. Work with a lot of different industries, a lot of different use cases. We also have real-time reporting, provide transparency between the partners that are working together. We can handle large workflows. We're based off of the cloud network, so we can pretty much handle anything that we can do. I mean, we track all different industries, and so if you need anything that way, we're definitely here to help. And it's great to have a partnership with Topology, because not only can you track with LinkTrust, you can manage your affiliates, and you can also pay your affiliates using LinkTrust. And it's a great partnership that we have with Topology that allows us to make paying your affiliates even easier. So we're excited for that, and happy to be on this webinar. Go to the next slide. In those years, LinkTrust has built up a lot of different clients, and you saw some on the screen before. Just want to highlight one of our clients that we have with us right now. It's called Design Cuts. Now, Design Cuts is a UK client of ours. They collaborate with industry-leading designers across the globe to produce and sell best design resources at affordable prices. There's over 600,000 businesses they will work with, support creatives in growing their own business and developing projects and skills and sharing resources and knowledge. And so they provide items such as brush sets for Photoshop or Procreate fonts, texture packs, or character building toolkits, and more. They're always looking for new affiliates. They've got a strong partner base and always looking to expand their viewership and their market share. They're also using LinkTrust with Defaulty. They're going to use LinkTrust for tracking their sales of their items on their site, as well as using Defaulty to help facilitate the payments for their affiliates. So we're excited to be working with them, and I think that's it for that one.
Gary, for that great introduction to LinkTrust. Topology is also excited to be a partner, and we'll see more of LinkTrust in the demo portion with Nick. But first, I thought I'd set the stage a bit. I lead corporate marketing here at Topology, but once upon a time, I was also working for an affiliate. And I ran email marketing for a company that was leveraging its audience, promoting its services, And we worked with Commission Junction and Amazon, as well as establishing direct relationships with ADT and Comcast and a lot of others. It was a really unique experience to learn that side of the business. But what I can tell you is this: loyalty from publishers, site owners, affiliates, and the range of advertising networking partners is always at risk. Affiliates are a discerning group. They're looking to maximize every pixel of their digital real estate to ensure an adequate return on revenue. And they often hedge their bets by joining dozens of networks to identify those that perform best for them. A research site called Thalamus, if you don't know about it, they track ad buyers and they evaluate networks. And they've got over 50,000 different media buying destinations. So that means there's extensive potential competition for marketing spend out there. Network satisfaction is critical to sustaining loyalty. Not only do publishers expect compelling revenue for their audience building efforts, but they also need to trust that they'll be paid. And the winners in the affiliate networking space are the ones who can differentiate on quality. They're able to attract and retain the best affiliate marketers and partners. They understand that network quality has a direct impact on long-term revenue, and competition continues from larger affiliate performance marketing networks, the Amazons, Googles, Facebooks of the world, and kind of the rapidly growing monetization options that are out there for affiliates. All this leads back to payments. Payments matter because it's the backbone of the transaction cycle of that relationship. It affects your partnerships as well as your reputation. I have a joke for you. What do you call an affiliate who tweets that they didn't get paid? Blocked. If you laugh, please leave a comment. Topology works with over 1,000 companies. Many are likely networks you recognize, and proudly these customers stick with us at a very high retention rate. One thing about Topology customers, they bring us in when there's an immediate need, as well as to address their future, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years out. They come to us to help them shore up their network, to enable them to expand internationally, increase the pace of their business, or establish more robust financial controls and compliance, and to provide a world-class affiliate experience. How do we do this? Well, not only does Defaulty eliminate 80% of the workflow involved in paying your affiliate partners, we do it in a way that enables you to create a scalable, compliant global network. It's the affiliate payment experience you need to thrive. You become the network that affiliates seek out to join. For design cuts, there's quite a bit of competition out there for the mind share of people who need digital assets. I know this as a marketer. There's so many choices out there. That's likely true for your network. Topology flattens the payment playing field so that reliable payment processing and transactions don't become a competitive gap for you. Instead, your network can focus on recruitment, product quality, optimizing the core offerings, the stuff you actually care about worrying about. So now it's my pleasure to introduce you to Nick Fishler, who's going to show us some cool stuff around that process. Nick?
Awesome. All right. Let me share my screen here. And can you hear me okay? Okay. Can you see my screen and hear me okay? It looks like that's a yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys. So just before we get into a little product demonstration, let me introduce myself real fast. My name is Nick Fishler. I'm a solutions consultant here at Polity. And I'm going to today walk you through a little demonstration of how Topology works and how we integrate with Link Trust. Just to set those up for those of you who are not familiar with Topology and what it is that Topology does, we are a holistic end-to-end payables automation platform. And what I mean by that is that we try to streamline the whole payables process. There's a lot of providers out there where they might just focus on one piece of the payables process, and it might be more of a point solution. Think something like a PayPal. They just focus on payments. Topology tries to look at this payables process as a more holistic puzzle to solve for. So we can really streamline and automate everything from the onboarding of your payees, that's collecting their payment details and validating those payment details, collecting tax forms and making sure that we have the right tax forms on file, paying out to your affiliates and your payees, as well as your SG&A vendors, and having all of this report and reconcile nicely back into your system of choice. This is also going to kind of mirror the flow of the demonstration that we go through today. As we go through the demo, I'm going to show you the supplier management side of things. So in this case, affiliate management and how payees, affiliates, partners are going to be onboarding through LinkTrust via our Defaulty embedded iframe. And I'll also talk to some of the payments that we process, as well as some of our reporting capabilities. Now, when we talk about our integration with LinkTrust, there's really three easy workflows that are involved. The activation of the integration, the affiliate workflow, so basically what the affiliate or partner is going to be experiencing as they onboard and provide us payment details, tax forms, et cetera. And lastly, the customer workflow, so what our joint customer is going to be experiencing to actually process payments. Now, this first workflow is really simple, and that's, again, the activation of the Defaulty LinkTrust integration. In LinkTrust, all you're going to have to do is select Defaulty as a payment method, and then you would simply fill in this spot down here where it says enter payer name and Defaulty ID, which is something that Defaulty provides you. And that's really all you have to do. It's a really simple setup process. It's a totally pre-built integration. Now, the second workflow is going to be what the affiliate or partner experiences when it comes to providing their payment details. So what this process would entail is basically from the LinkTrust platform, you can instruct your affiliates, partners to create their account using that LinkTrust portal. They would click manage the Defaulty payments. You can see that highlighted here. And what that's going to do when they click that button is going to take them into our Defaulty iframe, where they're going to complete a really simple three-step process of address, payment method, and tax forms. It's meant to take anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes, depending on if they have information on hand. But regardless, it's going to be a seamless and simple process for them, painless, if you will. And what I want to show you today is what this three-step onboarding process looks like. So you can see here an example of the onboarding portion and iframe that we've embedded within LinkTrust. You can see here that in this case, I am outside the LinkTrust system. I don't have a live environment of the LinkTrust system to show you today. But regardless, this three-step onboarding process is going to be the workflow that those affiliates go through. So I think it's still going to be useful in today's discussion, just showing what that workflow looks like. Now, on this first tab here, it's really going to be kind of the who, what, where information. The name, the physical address, the email address, that type of information. And we're going to do a few things with that information. So the first thing is going to be doing Ofac screening. So we're going to be bumping this up against sanctions list, blacklist, or swatch list, just to ensure that you aren't paying anybody that you shouldn't be paying. The last thing that you want to be doing to be caught doing is paying a bad actor. So just know that Defaulty has your back from a compliance point of view. The other thing that we're doing here is making the rest of this platform dynamic. So you can see here that this payee, this affiliate, has said that they're based in the US. That is actually going to be driving the next tab here and the payment methods available to that payee. So you'll see here, oops, I got timed out here. Let me refresh. You'll see here that when I click into that next button, the ACH pops up as a payment method option because I said that I was based in the US. If I said that I was based somewhere different, let's just say that I was based in, I'm going to say Germany here, you'll see that that ACH payment method option went away, and SEPA shows up instead because ACH, of course, isn't available there. Topology can process payments into 190 countries, 120 different currencies, and across 6 different payment methods. So there is a ton of flexibility for your payees. Really, part of the goal here is to create a best-in-class experience for those payees, and part of that is just paying your payees how they want to be paid, giving them that optionality and flexibility. Now, we have this drop-down menu of different payment method options that they can select from. If you want, you can configure this however you like. So maybe you decide that you don't want to provide check as a payment method option. You can just take that off the list, and they won't even see that as an option to select from the menu. Now, along with collecting these details, we're also going to be vetting all these details. So we actually have over 26,000 different rules built into the system to ensure that we're doing just that, right? Collecting clean information. And I know that 26,000 number sounds a little bit overkill, but when you start thinking about the fact that we're paying into 190 countries, and each country is going to be requiring different pieces of information for each one of their payment methods, that's where all those rules really start to come into play, right? So we know, for example, that a wire going into the U.S. might need an ABA number versus a wire going into the U.K. needs an IBAN code, or into India needs an IFSC code. We know all that information so that you don't have to, right? And really what that enables you to do is by flipping on to Polity, you've just been able to magically scale globally. You don't really have to worry about, what information do I need to pay into this new country that I'm expanding into? Topology just has that all automated as soon as you flip us on. So to that point about validation, though, I'll just show you a real quick example of what one of those validation rules looks like. So you can see here that I mistyped my Bank of America routing code. The system gives me instant feedback, just saying, hey, wait a second, this isn't actually a valid US routing code. It won't even let me go on to the next tab until we fix this error. So it's really trying to put that onus onto the payee to provide this information. And once I change this to my Bank of America routing code, that error message just flows away. We can also give them some hints as well. Now, another way that a lot of our customers use this is to drive payee behavior. And what I mean by that is maybe you want to set up a preferred payment method. Maybe you have a lot of checks today, but you're really trying to digitize. You're trying to move away from that check option. We can do that in a couple of ways. So the first way I've already mentioned, actually. So you could just decide to take check off the menu and not provide that as an option. You could be those guys. On the other hand, though, if you want to provide that optionality, we can still kind of put up some guardrails and drive that affiliate behavior. And we can do that through transaction fees. So just like a bank is going to be charging you per wire, per check, per ACH, what have you, Topology would basically be taking over this responsibility. So the big difference, though, I would say, is that we let you control what happens with that transaction fee. So you could choose to push that transaction fee onto the payee, the affiliate. You could choose to absorb it from the affiliate. You can choose to split it with them, even upcharge from what Topology is charging you. And you can do this per transaction type. So, for example, maybe we decide ACH is going to be a preferred method. We want as many people as possible to go towards that option. You can see here that in this situation, our customer here has decided to absorb this transaction fee for ACH on behalf of the affiliate. Versus this check option here, we're pushing this fee onto the affiliate. So we're really telling the affiliate, great, you want to be paid via check? That's totally cool with us, but you're going to have to pay for it. So why don't you pick this free option over here? It's just another tool in your tool belt. Definitely not required at all. Of course, you could choose to absorb all the fees on behalf of your payees, but it's just another way that you can gain some efficiencies out of Defaulty. Now, this last step in the process is tax forms. What we've done here is partnered with KPMG to create this digitized tax form collection system and questionnaire. Now, the questionnaire is really pointed at international payees, international affiliates, where a lot of times these guys haven't ever even seen a U.S. tax form, let alone know which one they need to fill out. So this is a quick tree of questions that they can go down to that will kind of hold their hand and lead them to the right form for them. So tax form selection, are you an individual? I'll say yes in this situation. Are you a U.S. citizen? If I say yes, of course, this is going to push me to a W-9. But if I answer the questions differently, so let's just say I'm an individual, yes, I'm not a U.S. citizen. And I'll just go down the list here a little fast. In this situation, it pushed me to a W-8 then. So just providing that extra support, especially to those international folks. To that end, we actually do also have language support as well. So we today support about 16 different languages within this portal and via our email communications that I'll show you in a moment or two. So just know that we really do want to support those international folks as much as possible, which is a big challenge for expanding businesses, is managing that international growth and scaling. Now, for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to show you what a W-9 will look like. You can see here that it's just a digitized W-9 form. And we're doing a couple things, though, in the background. We're collecting this in a nice, secure environment. Collecting this in the secure portal and digitizing it rather than collecting this in a public or a semi-public email inbox, maybe an ap@suchandsuch.com, right? This way we limit who has access to really personal information like Social Security numbers. The other thing that we're doing in the background here is TIN validation. So we're actually taking the Social Security number or the EIN that they've provided along with their name and bumping that up against the IRS database to ensure that those match. And if they don't match, then we're reaching out to your affiliate and telling them, hey, we need a new tax form in order for you to be paid. And your team can also be notified as well. Now, once the onboarding process has been completed, then this is going to be a tool for them to use. They can come back in here whenever they want. They can log back into the Link Trust platform and change their payment details as they see fit. They don't actually need to reach out to your team to do that. So I'm trying to make it as self-service as possible. In addition, we'll also be sending email notifications to them just to keep them in the loop. So for example, hey, your payment's been processed for X, Y, and Z amount regarding such and such document number. And in this case, one that failed, hey, we tried to pay you, but for X, Y, and Z reason, we couldn't. So in this case, the tax forms weren't provided. Or maybe it was, something from the bank, right? The name on your account didn't match what was on our records. All of that information is flowing right back to this payee so that they know what to go back and fix. And that way we can, again, make this as self-service as possible and lift those workloads off of your team's back. You can also see that these email communications have been completely white labeled. This is your email alias. I know I have Topology-Eversky, but just picture eversky.com in this situation. Your logo, you can change the verbiage here, the color scheme, the font, etc. That's all configurable. Now, the last workflow that I want to mention is what the customers have to do to actually process payments. And that's going to be a simple process as well. all you're going to have to do is go into the Link Trust platform and select which affiliates and partners you would like to pay. You hit this record button here, and if they are if you can see this Topology here, if it's a Topology payment method type, then all of that those payments are going to sync over into Topology as a payment batch. So you'll see here, I'm in the Topology AP Hub. This is basically your one-stop shop for everything payables related. So from here, you can do your reporting, your affiliate management, your payment processing, etc. And I'm going to reload this just to make sure I didn't get timed out. There we go. Glad that I did that. All right. And you'll see here, now that I'm back in here, that these are the payment files that have synced into Topology from Link Trust. So I have a batch of 17 payments, one-off payments 16. This could be hundreds if you did scale up to those sorts of numbers as well. We have some customers that do thousands of payments in a single batch. And I can click in to this file here to give you a quick idea of kind of the power that Topology has from a payment processing perspective. You can see that we're paying across all of these different payees. These are all different affiliates from the Link Trust system, different currencies in this situation, and different payment methods. And it's all from one place, right? You don't have to upload different files for different payment methods or for different currencies. You don't have to use different platforms, right? You don't have to upload a separate one into PayPal versus your bank or anything along those lines. Everything's aggregated into one place and centralized. We can also add some financial controls for you as well. So if your CFO, for example, wanted to kind of give everything a final look over before money leaves the building, we can set that up for you here. And this would give that payment approver the ability to kind of review this batch before it's processed. And I could go back in here and say, you know what, actually, I don't want to pay Andre yet. I'm going to cancel this particular payment and leave it for another batch. So it's a good financial control for those individuals, those leaders who might be a little cash flow conscious. You'll also notice that we have these balances up here. These are actual bank accounts that Topology will open on your behalf, and this is actually how you process payments through Topology. So these are what are called Fbo accounts, for benefit of owner accounts, and they're really meant to be sweep accounts. So you fill them up as necessary. You can fund us in a bunch of different currencies. I think we're currently sitting around 30 different currencies. So if you have receivables in Euro or GBP or Singapore dollar or whatever it might be, you can fund us in those. Or if you just have USD, you could process payments out still in those local currencies. So I mentioned before that you are able to pay out in 190 countries and 120 different currencies. So if you just have a USD account with us, you're still able to process out globally. So just fund us in USD and we'll take care of the rest. I'm going to go into one last different instance here because I think it is a good example here of what you might see with a Link Trust integration. So again, I have a payment batch here, and you can click into it as you see fit. And what's going to happen from here is based on the payment batch that you've pushed into the system from Link Trust, we're going to tell you how much to fund the system in this Funds Required tab. So we can click into this Funds Required tab here, and we'll get a daily breakdown of how much you have to fund the system. So in this situation, I have a batch upcoming on September 30th, and for about $1,600. In this case, though, because we already have a balance in this account, we don't need to fund it any additional. So we're doing that math for you so that you know exactly how much to fund. And I have, in this situation, one payment batch upcoming, but this could be October 15th, October 30th, et cetera. So you get a really nice kind of calendar almost of the payments that you have to make. If there were multiple accounts or currency accounts that, like I showed you in the previous example where it had USD, GBP, and Euro up here, those would all be listed here as well. So you could actually break it down by currency. And from here, what's going to happen is if you did have funds that needed to be funded into your FBO account here, you would come up here to this Add Funds tab, and you would process a ACH or wire to this particular location from your operating bank account. So in this situation, let's just say that this account was actually empty at $0 and we needed to fund these $1,600 worth of payments. Maybe on a Monday, I would go to my operating bank account and push that $1,600 from my operating bank account into Topology. Now, once it lands, which if it's a wire, usually those will land same day or next day, and if it's an ACH, usually that takes 24 to 48 hours. Let's say that in this example, I pushed via ACH. It lands by Wednesday, then we'll process those payments out to your affiliates, no matter where they might be in the world. Now, after the payment has been processed, then you do have reports that you can run on your back end here, where you can look at the payments that have gone out. If you like, we can also run a 1099 and 1042S prep report as well. So on the front end, we're collecting your W-9 information, tracking all of the payments that are made to each payee. And so we aggregate all that information into a nice prep report for you at the end of the year that you can run to streamline that end of year reporting process. Now, one last thing that I'll show you real fast is just some of the user management and communications that you can see. So from the communication standpoint, these are those emails that I showed you earlier, things like this, where it's telling you that the payment's been processed to the payee. You can see that we have a ton of different proactive email communications built into the system. And you can see here that these can be edited via HTML or via this nice little designer. And you have these variables that you can play with and plug into your email. You can change the verbiage here, the font, the color scheme, etc. You can CC or BCC people on your team. So for example, maybe if a payment fails, you want somebody on your team to be informed. We can definitely set that up for you. And then lastly, I'll just show you real fast user management. Super easy to set up different users within the system. All you have to do is add the user, add an email, and then you have all of these toggles. So maybe you want one person to be in charge of your payments and another person to be in charge just of your payees and vendor management. You can flip these on and off depending on how you want that to be structured across your team. And you can see what each one of these capabilities does. And that is really all I had from my demonstration today. So I appreciate you guys listening. I'll stop sharing. And if you guys have any other questions, though, feel free to ping us. We're more than happy to set up a deeper dive so you can check out more of the product's features.
Thanks, Nick. I hope that got your brain cells flowing about what's possible. Imagine if you could put away with dealing with all the performance measuring and payment processes with your affiliates. Imagine never having to address a payment issue with your affiliates again. Those automated emails, that communication flow with your payees, with your affiliates, it's priceless in some ways because you don't want your team having to respond to, oh, you didn't send the wire account number correctly, or somebody didn't get paid because they had signed up for some payment method that you don't support. Your team could spend more time on mission critical areas of your business, such as focusing on your top partners and building out your programs, creating new offerings. It looks like we have some questions to dive into, but first, I believe Gary has an offer from Linktrust.
Yeah, so today I want to offer to anybody on this webinar a special price for Link Trust. Generally, we have a yearly price and a month-to-month price. And the yearly price, we give a discount for someone that pays up front. And so for anyone that's on this webinar, we'll offer the yearly rate, discounted rate for a month-to-month. So that offer is good for anyone that's here on this webinar today. Just contact us for details later. Thank you, Derek.
Thanks, Gary. Super cool to offer that. As somebody in marketing, getting sales to agree to things like that, getting executives to agree to things like that, often very challenging. So we got some questions from the audience. I'll just dive in. Looks like we have some time. We could probably answer all of them. One question that comes in: does Link Trust have real-time reporting once I pay out using Defaulty?
Yes. So as soon as you make a payment, just like in the presentation, they click on the record payments button, and that shows right away that there was a payment that was made. You also see that in the Defaulty side as well.
Great. And another question about Link Trust: do I have to be a current Defaulty customer to use the Link Trust Defaulty integration?
Good question. You do not have to be a current Defaulty user to use Link Trust. So if you are a current Defaulty user, that's fine. We can still work with you. And if not, you can also use Link Trust and also Defaulty, and we can merge them together as well.
What does the process look like if I'm already a Defaulty customer and I'm moving to Link Trust? Do I have to start all over or give affiliates new Defaulty IDs?
That's another very good question. We're actually working with some clients right now that are doing that, and they're keeping the same IDs. And so you do not have to start over. We do have a way to work with your current setup.
That's great. Question that came in. This one's really interesting. I'm curious about if we have an answer for this one. Can we integrate with Salesforce? I know that Defaulty itself does not integrate with Salesforce directly. Does Link Trust have a Salesforce integration?
So Link Trust is very flexible. We can integrate with just about any platform that's out there. Some of them we do have some plugins for, and Salesforce, can't remember if we have a plugin for that one, but we can definitely integrate with them. It's a custom integration, but we definitely can do it. Yeah,
I know that Salesforce's API is pretty flexible, and the way you draw content or the way you draw data in and out of it is pretty flexible as long as you have the right tokenization around the user IDs. So you can do a lot there, and it's not an official integration, but I know our team is experimenting with some of that right now. For Defaulty, oh, go ahead.
I would just add to that too. We definitely have an open API framework from the Defaulty side that you can play with as well. So if you want to push information from from Salesforce into Defaulty, something along those lines, you can do that. And we also integrate via CSV file as well. So if there's reports that you want to run via Salesforce or something like that, I know that would be something that you can, quote unquote, integrate into Defaulty as well.
Yeah, I think it also depends on use case. It's like if you are just looking to make maybe like commission payments and they're in Salesforce and you have that data, then ideally, if you can store the Polity ID, you can definitely generate that pay file from Salesforce.
Yep.
This one's probably more for Nick. Who pays the conversion fees for FX?
That's a really good question. So this can be set up from the Defaulty point of view. kind of set up to be either the affiliate or the customer. We can set it up either way. So, for example, what a lot of our customers will do is they will push this fee onto the payee as kind of a value-added service. So, a lot of times a customer is just paying out in USD to their affiliates, and a lot of these affiliates want to be paid in their local currency, but it's just not something that a lot of affiliate networks out there offer. And so, basically what we'll do is they can select their local currency during the onboarding process. The customer can still load USD funds into Defaulty, and then as a value-added service, we'll convert on the way out the door to land in that payee's local currency, and we'll charge the payee that conversion fee. Again, as that value-added service, it's something that's more or less saying, hey, we're adding a new service for you. You don't have to be slapped with your bank's fees anymore to do that conversion to local currency. We can do it on your behalf for a lot of times a lot cheaper too. So again, you could set it up that way, or you could choose to take on those fees on behalf of the payee.
Yeah. In some cases, some countries want to be paid in USD just because it's easier for them and there's less of there's less hassle on their end. And in line with that, does LinkTrust and Topology have multi-currency reporting? So this is probably for both of you.
So I know that from the Topology side, we definitely have multi-currency reporting, but I'm not sure how that information flows back to LinkTrust. So that might be some homework that I have to look into. I'm not sure if Gary has an answer there.
The LinkTrust does have multi-currency reporting. And so you can pay affiliates to different currencies, and they can select which currency they want to be paid from. As far as the Defaulty, that's a good question as well, from Defaulty to LinkTrust, though. So that is a good question. We'll have to look into that one together.
We're playing Stump the Demoers. This is one of my favorites. How many affiliates can you pay in a single run?
Is that from?
So
either way, I guess, from LinkTrust, but also Defaulty.
So from the LinkTrust side, you can pay as many as you want to. And I don't know if there's a limit. You have affiliates that you pay, you have hundreds of them. You can pull them all up, and you can pay them all at once.
Yep. And from the Defaulty side of things, you can pay as many as you want. I mean, we have some customers that pay thousands of payees in a single day. The system will group them together in batches of 250, though. So if let's say that you sent over 500 payments from LinkTrust, our system will automatically split those out into two batches of 250.
That's good to know. How long does it take to set up this solution? And I think they mean probably on both sides as well as the integration. So you guys want to tag team on that one?
It can be fast or it can take a while. It's generally easier from what I've experienced, if you don't have an account already set up for Polity, but we're making some changes that'll make it easier when you do have an account so that it's more seamless instead of doing some workarounds. But yeah, it shouldn't take a few days to a week probably, I think, on that side of it. From LinkTrust.
And from the Defaulty side, this usually you're looking at a 3 to 4 week implementation cycle. And when I say 3 to 4 weeks, I don't mean you're working on this 8 hours of a day for 7 days a week or anything along those lines. We just like to be conservative with our estimates. So this is, devoting 1 to 2 hours towards this project a week. That's what that 3 to 4 hour timeline, or I'm sorry, 3 to 4 week timeline really looks like, is a couple hours a week, getting on the call with our implementation team and hashing things out. It's definitely, we take a white gloved approach to that implementation process. So you have an implementation manager from the Defaulty side that is kind of your go-to person during that implementation cycle. And he or she would be holding your hand kind of through that process as well. So it's not like we just open up a sandbox and dump you in it by any means. To do the actual integration, though, from my understanding, that piece of the process is very seamless and easy. Kind of what I showed you, earlier in the demo. It's really as simple as kind of flipping on a switch, more or less, and copying and pasting a few values. So pretty easy from that point of view.
Thanks. And to that end, a question came in: how customizable is that Payee Portal?
On the link trust side, or is that
I think on the Defaulty side?
Yeah, so the portal can be customized to a certain extent. I mean, the actual look and feel of that iframe isn't customizable when our integration with link trust is turned on, but the workflows can definitely be changed. So for example, maybe in a certain situation, maybe that you might not want to collect tax forms. You can turn that requirement on and off depending on your needs. Or, like I showed during the demonstration, maybe you only want to provide ACH as a payment method option and not provide check or wire as an option. That type of stuff is definitely configurable. But as far as kind of the look of the portal, that would be a little less configurable in this situation.
Got it. Excuse me. A few more questions, and then I think we'll shut it down. Can Topology, with this integration, still be used for regular invoice-backed payments?
Yes, yeah, definitely. So we can kind of support two different workflows. And I'll just share my screen since we have some time just to kind of show this. So we kind of can support two different workflows simultaneously. So the link trust, more what we describe as like a mass pay use case where you're paying out to affiliates and connected to the link trust system. And let me know if can you see? I think you should be able to see my screen now. All right. But the other side of this is that kind of more traditional SG&A spend, which we can also support. So we definitely can collect email or invoices via email, or you can upload them into the system, and then would be able to use OCR technology to capture information off of this invoice image and send it through appropriate approval workflows and things along those lines. So there's definitely some additional capabilities past just the kind of affiliate mass payment workflow that we offer.
Great. And then this is my question. The risk management side of affiliate marketing is always a big question mark, particularly as you deal with cross-border payees who you don't really know, and yet they're part of your network. Nick, what are some ways that we kind of help that process along?
In terms of fraud prevention and things along those lines?
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah. So actually, I'm going to share my screen again, I guess. So we definitely can do that in a few different ways. So one I've already talked about is that Ofac screening, just to make sure that you as a company are not paying out any bad actors. We do in Ofac Screen, we can set it up so that we do it when they first onboard, and then we also do it before every payment run. So let's say that maybe when they initially onboard, they were not labeled an Ofac risk, but then 6 months down the road, now all of a sudden they are. That way we're still able to catch it, right? So when we try to process that payment 6 months in, we can see, oh, this actually changed. He's an Ofac hit. And we can block that payee and do the necessary precautions to kind of vet out and suss out that bad actor. Another thing that we can do, we do have tools built into the UI here. So if I go here, I can spell sometimes. We do have a tool called the Defaulty Detect tool, and this is basically going to be watching out for any suspicious activity or suspicious payees. So for example, maybe in this situation, these two payees have the same address. We're going to flag that for the customer. And we're not going to necessarily block that payee. We kind of give the customer the power to decide what they're going to do with these two payees, right? Because there might be a reason for these two payees to have the same address or have the same bank account, right? They might be maybe brothers or living in the same household, et cetera. So giving the customer basically that visibility, but also control over that situation. Right? I'm trying to think of a few other things from we're also doing our TIN validation just to make sure that these payees pretty much are who they say they are. All of the vetting that we do with the payment details really ensures that we have an extremely low payment error rate. So across our over $12 billion in spend that we do across the world, we have less than a 0.5% error rate. So a lot of different factors, I think, coming into play here to make sure that we're paying out the right people, that we're paying them properly, and eliminating fraud along the way. We can even do things like put in place payee review processes. So, as a payee comes on board, somebody has to review that payee before they can actually be paid out, things along those lines. It's a long-winded answer, but hopefully that helps clarify a few examples of how we can help reduce fraud.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big topic for another webinar. I've heard of some of our customers, one of the things they've seen is like they'll be paying an affiliate on a monthly basis, and it's a sort of normal cadence, and then all of a sudden it jumps. And that itself can be an indicator of something fishy going on. And so it's definitely something that I think networks in particular need to have kind of top of mind as they go along. The risks are out there, especially as you go globally, expand your network. So, this is our time for the day. I want to thank Gary and Nick for joining us, and of course, all of you. Be sure to download any content from the Resource Center. And as you exit, there'll be a survey where we'd love to hear your feedback about today. Otherwise, stay safe out there. May our paths cross again. Thanks for coming.